From Arizona, Merry Christmas. It's a beautiful day, 71 degrees, and I've got a rescue dog waiting for his treat, which I always have a treat. Okay, so what we have here is today, it's not that bright. We've got on this Christmas day for everyone when Uncle Martin did not get any presents. Yes, hard to believe Uncle Martin wouldn't get any presents, but I was 10 years of experience. It was 1965. I remember it well because when you're a child and you don't get any presents, well, did you do something wrong? No, we did not. My dad thought outside the box. The box was always, he didn't follow the lines, he colored outside. He did graduate from Flagstaff, Arizona, 1962. So I would have been in third grade. We grew up in Flagstaff, Arizona. So I have some memories there. I've got quite a few experiences that I haven't explained. Well, let's just say we've got a lot of stories there in Flagstaff, Arizona. But Dad, he got his bachelor's in 1962. He took up his majors, I believe, were philosophy and I got to look it up. But he was definitely a thinker outside the box. So in 1965, that's when a lot of things happened for Uncle Martin and his brother. We, well, it was on Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of 1965, as I recall, that we were told by my dad that okay, Dad was a teacher, and in this particular situation, he went to a school that had, well, let's just say, kids that they had issues. They were special kids that, well, I guess it was from third, fourth, all the way up to high school that had physical, mental, and emotional issues. The special kids, the kids that are special. And we got to, Bro and I and my father were working with these children. Dad normally was a fifth, sixth grade teacher for a while, and then he went up to high school. But that would be another story. In this situation, he was teaching in sixth grade, but the kids that we had around us were from the special school. That okay, this is how it worked. There was two barrels of candy, big barrels, big oak barrels, that Bro and I and everyone else put these hard candies into wrappers. We wrapped them all up. It was an assembly line. It was a big, long table. I remember a long table, and some of us were wrapping the candies. Some of us were putting the candies. This guy's back again. He wants another goodie. My boy wants a goodie. Well, it's Christmas. You'll get another one. Okay. He keeps coming back for goodies. He'll be back again. He's not really eating them, but he may be burying them. That's my dog. So what we have is us doing special things for 3 days, wrapping up candies. Why were we doing this? Oh, the thing I forgot to tell you is Dad taught 5th and 6th grade at the time, and it was in shop, and he also did pottery, so he was firing stuff up. he started this whole idea like 3 months before Christmas. So all the kids that were making things, he suggested to them that it's going to be for the kids that weren't getting any presents. So would they volunteer making things? And they all volunteered. They made pottery stuff. They did box because he did woodwork also. So they were making boxes and all kinds of stuff that you could put candy in, basically. So that's what we did for 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Because in 1965, we had a Christmas weekend. Do we have a Christmas weekend this year? No, it's like, what day is it? It's Thursday. Got to think about it. So we got, back then, we had a whole week off. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Bro and I volunteered ourselves, we had no choice, in making candies and putting them into these different things that would go for kids that had no presents, basically. So Dad's, what do we got here? Hey guys, welcome. Merry Christmas. So what we have here is a situation where I was 10 years of experience and I didn't have any. I didn't know. I was not going to get any presents this year. See, I thought Christmas time was for presents. And if you're a child, well, I knew about Santa Claus and I'm not going to give it away. But you younger ones, Santa Claus is around. But for the people with more experience, you know that there's another way of looking at it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, Noah Street, KS, welcome. We have me at 10 years of experience not getting any presents. I didn't know about that because I thought we did a good job, a real good job. A good job as far as we wrapped candies from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Christmas time. I thought I was going to get some presents because we did a good job all week. We put things together for kids that weren't getting any presents, and that's what we did. We had boxes and boxes of this candy, this hard candy, that we were delivering to people that did not have any presents coming. So I'm saying my anticipation for all this studious work that I did with my dad, who's a teacher, would give us some fantastic presents. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just Christmas time. Okay. All these people are now talking to me, huh? Okay, no, we already talked to you. International, you got my drip? Yeah. All right, good. Hey, Gabby, how you doing? Rosanna. Hey, Rosanna. And Gabby. Hey, Gabby. How you doing? Gabby, am I a girl or a boy? I don't know. What do you think? I try to balance myself because that's what life is all about. Balance. Not only that, I got a hungry dog. A rescue that's really good. He's a good boy. Are you a good boy? 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 He's the best boy. He's my rescue. He was starved. He was put in a cage. My buddy Nick, he said, "Do I want this dog?" I said, "Hey, I don't know. I got a dog. Send me some pictures." You know what he did? He sent me pictures of this dog, front, side, and behind. But he showed me his eyes. And when he showed me the eyes of this dog, I said, "I want this dog. I got a dog. But I will take this dog because he's smart." I didn't know about how abused he was, but I knew he was my dog. Hey, Maha X4389. You hate dogs, but this dog is so cute. Well, bless your heart. Oh, what are you, a cat lover? I've got 22 feral cats in the backyard I'm about ready to feed on Christmas. And they're going to get chicken and pork roast, which is very rare for them. They usually get dry food. And then I got 7 or 8 on top of the carport here that I feed. They're going to get the same specialty today. I've got cats, I got dogs, I got birds. I got all kinds of things at my property. That's because I'm an animal lover. Isn't everybody like, come on, you gotta love an animal. We are animals. We are the highest of the animals because we have a mind. And this mind hopefully is telling you to feed your animals and not to hurt them. That is the law. Okay, Harry Party fan. Hi, Uncle. It's King CJ. King CJ, Merry Christmas. Haven't seen you for a while. We did one on King CJ on a dream he had, and we diagnosed it hopefully very well. Check that out. King CJ's dream someday. Okay, Baragorn 32. How are you today, sir? I am well by God's grace, and God bless you for saying hello, as well as Merry Christmas. It is a Merry Christmas, and that's what I was saying. We didn't get any. Wow. I just had a hummingbird go by. I don't know if anybody caught that. A hummingbird. Oh, baby. That's a high one on Christmas, especially. Hummingbirds are for spiritual enlightenment. Hey, this is pretty high. I don't know if you can back this up, but a hummingbird just went by my head. I've got a hummingbird because I grow aloe vera cactus, which I also have that on a live aloe vera. It goes back over 6,000 years on the remedies of aloe vera cactus. Something to look into. So we got Dad telling Bro and I we don't get any Christmas presents today because it's Christmas, but there's a reason behind it. Dad said Christmas is a time for giving, not always receiving. And if you understand what I'm talking about, it is better to give than it is to receive. If you've ever given from your heart, you know what I'm talking about. This is a time when, things happen in your life. And that's what happened to us when I was 10, that I realized sitting in that assembly line making candies, I thought crummy candies because there was no chocolate involved, but we were putting in we were putting hard candy into the wrappers, then into the other presents that Dad had for the kid. Then we put it in a bunch of boxes and we delivered it to the kids. Didn't have anything. And that was the whole concept of Dad saying there's more than receiving. It's in the giving part, all right? The giving. What do we have to give? I got a cookie. Do you know who it's for? My favorite dog, Lightning. So that was the story on, well, actually, it's not the end of the story. We did get a present. It just wasn't from our parents. See, I was actually 1965. Hey, this is fantastic. 1965, I became an altar boy. Yes, an altar boy. No negative stories. The Catholic Church has things to work out to this day. But at that time, I was going to be a priest, all right? In my mind, I was going to be a priest. And I found out later through past life stuff, I was many times a priest. But that would be another story. All right, what do we got? One more. Over here. One more. This is it. This is all you get. Sit. He'll be back. This dog is always coming back. Not that he's a proverbial penny. By the way, we don't make pennies anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. Oh, man. So Dad had an idea that we would understand that by not getting presents, it was better to give than to receive. Now, on the hindsight of all of this story, we did get a present, one present, but it wasn't from my parents. See, as I said, I was an altar boy in 1965. I was Latin. We learned Latin. Latin is it's a dead language, sort of like Sanskrit. And I told Father they should not change Latin and go to English. And he said, my son, they don't understand what we're talking about. I said, Father, this is not right. And I find out later that Latin is a higher vibration than English. And it wasn't the Pope that did this in 1965. It was some, I don't want to say jokers, but it was the all the bishops. They got together and said, no, we don't do that. So it wasn't by the Pope in 1965. It was by his dominions that made this choice. I feel it was, and to this day, I feel Latin is, if you ever listen to a Latin Christian mass, much higher than the English one. I don't want to go there. So what we got is people trying to talk to me. It can't happen today. It's on live. So that was our understanding of giving then receiving. Now, we go back 1 year. I don't like to regress, but Dad had another idea of us being grateful. And the grateful aspect was that we had to be grateful for our food. As you well know or don't, there are people on this planet to this day, well, they're not getting presents, let alone food, right? And when you don't get food, well, I guess if you're just drinking water, you become a breatharian. And that's hard. You know, consciously, some people have made that choice that they want to be a breatharian. And there's some pros and cons to that, which I won't go into right now. As far as Dad, the year before, 1964, it would have been on my second, third grade. I'm sorry. It would have been 2 years past that. It was. Because I went to 4 fourth grades, 2 third grades. So it would have been on my second, third grade, Dad taught us being grateful. I was in Pluckerman, New Jersey, on a 5-acre chicken farm in Pluckerman, New Jersey. What's the chances of Pluckerman, New Jersey having a chicken farm? Well, they had a lot of chicken farms back then. So Dad said, we're not going to have dinner like normal. I said, Dad, I just looked in the refrigerator and there was more than Chewy's. Yeah, I know. Come here. Come on. Sit. You gonna be good? This is the last one. Last one. Very last one. I don't know if you got that on camera, but I think I got one more. So we were sitting at the table. It's 19. It was in my second, third grade at a 5-acre chicken farm that Dad decided that we're going to learn a lesson on being grateful. Grateful for what? Grateful for food. Food is not so, we get, I know they're poisonous. They may be poisoning us with the food we're eating. Back then, not so much. I don't want to go there. It's too negative. But back then, we were sitting down at the table, and Dad said, well, all we're going to have is this fresh rye bread Mom just brought from the store. And this is going to be what we're going to be for dinner, rye bread and butter. And I said, Dad, I just hold on a second. And I went and looked in the refrigerator, and we're Italian. We had spaghetti meatballs. We had a big ham. There was chicken in there. There was cold cuts. There was all kinds of stuff for a sandwich. All we're going to get tonight is rye bread and butter. Why would that be? Dad was setting us up for being grateful. Being grateful is something we're not taught. Well, actually, we are taught, but we're not born with being grateful. That's why a lot of kids today that have a lot of rich parents, there are million billionaires that are getting cars and smashing them up into stuff, into trees, and just wasting the parents' money because it's been given to kids that have not earned it by their own merit. Is there a pattern here? Maybe so. So that's what Dad was trying to get across to us as far as food goes. Food. Food is not for everyone because some people are starving to this day on this planet. And Dad, back in I guess it was 1963. Yes, 63, 64. Yeah, it was before I even went to my fourth grades. I went to 20 schools and I graduated. This is kind of confusing, but someday I'll bring out all my report cards so everybody knows that Uncle Martin is telling the truth. That I went to a lot of schools. I learned a lot of stuff. And after school, I learned more stuff because school was telling me lies that I didn't know until I got out of school and I started understanding how it worked. That, again, would be another story. So Dad is sitting us down at the table. We got a candle in the middle of the table. I think Mom and Dad had a glass of wine. We didn't get any of that. Probably could have, but man, that wasn't for me. Not until like later. And then we'd learn that it wasn't necessary. Yeah, that's another story. Okay, one more. One more. It's been good. Sit. Sit. I think I'll eat this one. So we're sitting at the table. I said, Dad, we got all this food in the refrigerator. He says, no, we're going to have rye bread and butter. So we did the blessing over the food, which we've always done, and I do to this day. Always bless your food. Put your hands over the food. Bless your food, or at least mentally say you're grateful for your food. It's going to do a lot better for you than just gobbling it down without thinking about it. That'll be another story. So we're saying to Dad, I'm not happy with this just bread and butter. Can I have it toasted? He says, nope, no toast on your bread, just butter. I said, Dad. Okay, so it's fresh bread Mom brought in. We slice it up. We get this rye bread that's been freshly baked that day. And I have butter on the bread. I start eating the bread and butter, and I find it tastes really good. And I'm being grateful for just having this bread and butter, rye bread and butter, with the caraway seeds, by the way. Now, to this day, when I taste, well, not in Arizona, it's just not the same as back east, New Jersey, New York. You got fresh rye bread. There's a different taste to it. Even pizza tastes crummy out here in Arizona. I think it's the lack of humidity. That's what they tell me. Yeah, I'm kind of a chef myself, but I know that you have to have humidity to have a good baked bread. So we're eating the bread and butter, enjoying it more than we have in the past, because we understand not only kids are starving, not like this dog. Actually, he was starved. Feed your animals, please. And Dad is getting across to us at a young age, that we are to be grateful for the food that is on our table, because there are kids that don't have any food, even to this day. And if you're out there on Christmas and you see somebody that maybe, I don't know, homeless person or something like that, don't give them money. But if you can, go to Costco, buy a $5 chicken, hey, give it to them. Or not today because they're closed, but down the road. I believe in feeding the poor and the homeless, but not giving them money. Okay. Hey, Barragoon 32 for your Viking blood. Yes, I've been a Viking many lifetimes. I grew up with throwing knives, axes, shooting the bow. Just the way I was brought up. To this day, I'll have a video on throwing axes, knives, and shooting the bow. I promise. I'll do a live on it. Yeah, to this day, I climb a rope. Well, it's right here. See that rope? It goes up the tree. I got the wind chimes and everything. You hear the wind chimes? I climb the rope. And I got a few years of experience. And I still do it. Because my dad, when I was in first grade, put a rope up in the middle of the living room. A Navy rope. And I climbed it. I climbed it many times, to where to this day I can climb a rope. Is anybody out there? Well, this cookie is for sit. My good boy. Does anybody climb a rope today? Oh, look at the kids. You can't even do a push-up. You can't do a chin-up. Why is that? Because maybe it's the food you're eating. Maybe it's the way you're running home to look into the game box or whatever you're doing now. It's time that we come back to a physical because you don't got gym anymore, really, do you? Is anybody climbing ropes? Is anybody doing their push-ups, chin-ups? Please start, because it's very necessary to stay active. Because by the time you get to my experience, if I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be walking around and climbing a rope to this day. That's the way it is. Okay, Barragoon 32. Have you ever visited Sandvera? No, I have not, but maybe someday I will. So everybody out there that's still with Uncle Martin on Christmas, what I want to say is Merry Christmas. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. I'd like to have a comment on you kids or guardians or parents or grandparents that had some experience with a present, on Christmas, a present situation where either you got too many, you didn't get enough, or you got none. Like I did in 1965. Loth, 1950, Arizona. Hey, Manuel. There you go. Manuel, not the 1950. Hey, welcome. Yeah, gosh, I guess. I didn't want to go there, but this is kind of a sad story, and I don't like to leave on sad stories with no presents. No presents in I guess it was 1964. Yeah, see, my numbers, dyslexia. I'm trying to work with my numbers. So that was 1964. I didn't get any. I was 10 years old. 10 years old in 1964. So you can add it up where I'm at. So 64, I got no presents. Now, the next year, in 1965, this is all coming back to me now. It was terrible that I had no presents, but I learned a lesson about kids not having presents and being grateful, that's all. Grateful for presents and being grateful for food, rye bread and butter. To this day, I love rye bread and butter. Like this dog loves cookies. Sit. Sit. Yeah. So the next year, that is 1965. 64, 65, 66. Whatever. The next year, after not having presents, I'm telling you, dyslexia to this day, I'm working with. I'm trying to work with it. My numbers. That makes me a real interesting person when I deal with it as a cashier at a store. But that's another story. I do well. Even before that, I had emissions. I worked for emissions, and they have like 11 or 12 numbers that you have to work with. I did pretty well there. Well, on a few times that I didn't, but yeah, it's another story. So dyslexia is something, by the way, NASA has over 50% of their people they've hired in NASA, the rocket ship people, they've hired dyslexic people. Why would they do that? Well, it's because people with dyslexia can look at a problem and fix it faster than people that don't have dyslexia. So there's a pro and con and everything, right? So the next year, the year after that I did not get any presents, I got presents. That's what I'm saying. Anybody back in that day remember the bike? Had a banana seat to it, high handlebars, and you could do wheelies on it. It had a slick tire in the back. I got one of those, and then I got all kinds of other presents. But the present, I was grateful for the bike, but I wanted because I was 10. Now I was 11. I was 10 years of experience with no presents. Now I became 11 years of experience on the planet Earth. And I found that I wanted one thing, but I couldn't say it. Know why? Because you couldn't. As a boy, I wanted an Easy Bake Oven. Easy Bake Oven? What is that? Well, Google Easy Bake Oven. Look up the commercial. I was sucked into it, commercialism. And there was some blonde chick that I think I was in love with. And then she had a brother, a little grubby little brother, that was waiting for the cookies and baked cakes and cupcakes like a little drooler. He was waiting for this. And then so I wanted it because I got hooked into the commercial. And the commercial said that this was a fantastic thing to have an Easy Bake Oven. But I was a guy. I was a boy. I was 11. You can't say you want an Easy Bake Oven. Not back then. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But when I didn't get it, I was really upset. And then Dad and Mom said, hey, go look in the closet. And I open up the closet. There's a big package, and it was an Easy Bake Oven. So from 1 year of not getting any presents, the next year I got not only the Schwinn bike of the high handlebars and a banana seat you do wheelies on, and other presents, I got the Easy Bake Oven. Now, a word to the wise. It was crummy. That Easy Bake Oven was crummy. I baked all the stuff that they in the packets with water and everything. And you know what when I opened up the back, you know what it was? It was a 100-watt light bulb that cooked these powdered products of a cake, cupcakes, and it was crummy. So I got sucked into a commercial and got sucked into a Easy Bake Oven. And then at 11 years, 11 by the way is master numbers. So I learned a lot on many levels. But at 11, I said, Mom, I broke and have the Easy Bake Oven. I want to cook a chicken, and I can't do it in this Easy Bake Oven. Can I use the oven to cook the chicken? She says, absolutely. How are you going to, what kind of seasonings? I said, I'm just using salt and pepper. I put it in there, put it at 350, cooked it for an hour, came out. Everybody loved the chicken, and I was fat. I thought it was the best chicken I ever had in my life. And I found out later, my grandmother, Nanny, who left us at 96, she had no medication until she was 93. Yeah, that's another story. No medication until 93, and at 96, she's gone. That's another story. So we ate this chicken that I cooked at 11, and I became a chef. But that would be another story. So everybody out there that's still with Uncle Martin, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. I don't care, but I am concerned on Christmas. And not only that, if you join, that means subscribe to Uncle Martin. This is the law of the West. I will subscribe to you. And if you don't have anything to subscribe to, at least you'll know when Uncle Martin's going live. That's what it all comes down to. So everybody out there, God bless you. Be well. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And by the way, on Happy New Year, I will have another story on what happened on New Year's about the same time period, 1964, 1965, that you will more than likely enjoy. Hey, Rosa Montano. Hey, 4283. Yeah, the same. Well, back at you. So again, I'm not saying you have to join Uncle Martin's subscribing. That's not necessary. Come on, around here. But this guy right here, sit. My rescue, Lightning. He'd love for you to subscribe. And again, I'll subscribe to you if you have anything. If not, you should subscribe. And anybody that's, young kids with less experience, I don't care. People that are up to my level of experience, start a channel. And what I suggest to the people with more experience, you've got things to offer. Know why? Because you're at an age of experience that may help someone not do some goofy things that you experience, that you learn by, that you're able to get across. That's the important part. Because after 40, I believe, that's the time when, well, definitely by 50, we have to start giving back to society on the things that we have learned that maybe was a downfall that we shouldn't have done, or that we did, that we got the experience to know better. And that's what it comes down to. Wisdom, discernment, applying knowledge correctly so that you're able to get wisdom, which would be discernment, which we are lacking so much now on this planet. And that's why I say start it up, just throw it out there, let the chips fly where they may, all right? Hey, Barragoon 32, we love you, Uncle Martin. Well, Barragoon 32, I love you too. Share this with somebody if you wish. I got so many of these episodes. Just go back on any of my live stuff and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not saying just join the club. Don't be a member because you're going to do it. I'd suggest you just check out what I'm talking about and then you can go from there. So until then, be well. God victory. And I'm so grateful for those that have hung out so long. Until then, stay safe.